Hey guys, Tower Climber here, and today we're doing another Tower Guide live reaction to a chapter. Um, we're only going to do one chapter since I didn't miss a week in this time, so that's good. So yeah, this hopefully this is going to be a way like shorter stream. That's also why I started it earlier, because it kind of has to be, because I have to get up extremely early tomorrow. So yeah, that. What if Eurasia teamed up with Gusting? That is something that I actually think will happen in the story later on down the line. I really don't think that Eurasia, the Blossom, wouldn't team up with Gusting, unless you want to make the argument that she also he took away so many of her memories that she's just like a husk of what she used to be. I really don't think that she would go against Gusting. But we'll see. Let's see if your guesses from last time are correct. I forgot most of my guesses from last time, but I remember the big one, the one at the end, the one from my theory about what the whole thing Bomb was talking about, what did Enkidu do? I do remember that, so I'm hoping it's correct, but if it's not correct, at least hopefully it's something interesting, just as interesting. I'm gonna listen to myself to see if I sound good. I think I just turned it up a little bit in there. Yeah, that's good. That amount is perfectly fine. A little bit more up and then we're good to go. But cool. So now, yeah, I'm guessing because of the thumbnail that my friend sent me, I'm guessing that we're gonna keep going with the whole Enkidu stuff. So I'm excited to see about that, and hopefully again my theories are proven right, and if they're not, then well, I hope it's just as interesting. But yeah, so let's not beat around the bush too much. I don't really have much stuff to talk about. There is going to be a new video this week, but I can't tell you when it's going to come out, if it's going to be on Thursday or Friday. Hopefully on Thursday, but we'll see. But yeah, let's start. Hopefully I'm in the right tab, because I always kind of forget if I'm on the right tab or not. Yeah, I'm in the right tab. Let's go. No mistakes today. All right, I'm gonna just mute myself so I don't hear myself constantly. Okay, there you go. Maybe we'll get 4 panels of Enkidu stuff, then come back to the family. That would suck. Imagine if my friends baited me out. They're like, yo, just 4 panels of the Enkidu stuff. Let's really gaslight him into thinking we're gonna get this stuff, and then immediately come back to the other stuff. And I'm like, God damn it. that would be such an asshole thing to do, but it's 100% something that my friends would do to me. But hopefully they did not. What if another family head showed up? That would be crazy. I don't know which family head would show up. Give me some ideas. Which would be the most interesting family head to show up? For me, maybe Blossom, but I don't think she would show up. Obviously I don't think it's gonna happen either way, but what if another family head showed up? What family head would you guys want to show up here? Just as a little question, I guess, extending the question out. We have a violence warning, so hopefully there's actual violence in this chapter. Let's see. There's a violence warning. The most realistic to me would be blood matter. Really, that's an interesting pick. The thing about it, from a storytelling perspective, I still believe that blood matter is gonna end up just being the weakest family head. Obviously the most defensive, but the weakest in terms of power output. So it makes sense from let's not introduce the strongest while others are fighting or something, but Blood Matter is interesting pick because I wouldn't really associate him with well, Traumrai did talk about Blood Matter, so I don't know. I wouldn't really associate him with any of the ones currently fighting. Tower of God, season 3, the battle between the family leaders, hidden memory fragments of that day too. All right. So let's see what those hidden memory fragments are. In order for a living creature to be born, certain laws of nature must be followed. Interesting. We don't even get like a recap of what happened last time. We're just immediately starting with a narrator. It's very interesting to me. That being said, in the case of this creature, we are gonna get into Traumrai and most likely Enkidu stuff. This is great. I loved the people who have seen who's been in this channel for a minute know that the Enkidu flashback was turned into one of my favorite flashbacks entirely of this entire story. Like more than the Wong One stuff, more than any other flashback, any content that we've gotten from Tower of God, I generally think that this is the best one, and I can make arguments for that all day long. So if we're gonna get an extension to that, I'm not complaining at all, and hopefully let's see. That being said, in the case of this creature, what in the world were the laws that created him? That's a very interesting thing to be talking about with Traumrai, since he's an irregular. The rule laws don't really apply to him, at least as much as others. Every time I see him, it feels like I'm looking at a creature that shouldn't exist in this tower. Oh, and I like we had a similar shot in the Enkidu flashback of him, of not his Jello form, but his of his new human form in the bottle, and I like how we're getting that imagery again. But yeah, what Enkidu's saying. So the narrator right now is Enkidu. I'm assuming, and yeah, he's just saying what I was saying right now, that he's an irregular. He's looking at a being that shouldn't exist in this tower. His very existence is a mystery to me. I can't, for some reason, I could have never become Traumrai, but I wouldn't want it to anyway. All I really wanted was to have a spot as close to that beautiful creature as possible. So now this is perfect, because this is one of the things I do love the Enkidu flashback so much, but one of the things that I wanted to, if I was going to expand on anything in that flashback, was the Enkidu and Traumrai stuff. Even though it feels like we got a lot of it, at the same time it leaves so much to the imagination that I wish we could have gotten more concrete stuff on it. We just got Enkidu's feelings about Traumrai, and a lot of and some feelings from Traumrai about Enkidu. And we saw little snippets and flashes of their history together, about Traumrai training him, getting the contract, all the important beats. But I really want to get some more, and it's gonna deep dive into Enkidu's mindset more, which again, that's why I like it. I don't want just Enkidu to be the victim. I do want his previous mindset things to affect things in a negative way, for him not just to be a victim of Traumrai. Very homunculus in the Flash, 100%. I love Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and it definitely reminds me of that. What if the 13 warriors were born inside the tower? I don't actually know how much that would affect it, although, because we don't know how much of their lives were outside of the tower, you know what I mean? So and we don't even know how old they were when they entered. So I'm assuming they were young, but at the same time, I don't know. Was to have a spot next to the beautiful creature as possible. I just wanted to have the privilege of gazing at him and talking to him. Yeah. Okay, we got a goat. Sorry, I just saw the image before I saw the text. Tromrai. I caught all the animals you asked. A few of them were hiding in the most unexpected places. So I think this is Enkidu talking to Tromrai. So Tromrai told him to catch animals for him. Interesting. Well done, Enkidu. But why did you want me to catch these animals if you aren't going to use them as minions? Oh, so Tromrai wasn't gonna plan to like use these animals. Oh well, we see more now. We see we see two turtle like beings. Well, one's a tortoise and one's, I think, more of a turtle. One's more of a sea turtle and the other one's more like a standard turtle. This is a really cool design for this one in the middle, the goat. I like it a lot, actually. Like a goat horse. Curious, are you? Well, yeah, of course. I also love, like I mentioned this a lot in my read through of the Enkidu flashback, but I love the Gilgamesh and Enkidu parallels to the story of Tromrai and Enkidu. It's very deliberate, I'm assuming, and it's super interesting. And to see like the differences and the parallels, it's super cool. I suppose I could tell you, since you'll need to know eventually. But when you find this out, you'll learn a secret about you'll learn a secret about me that might surprise you. You mustn't reveal this to another soul. If you do, I'll have to kill you. Are you sure you want to see it? You look scared, just as I thought. You're not ready for this yet. Wow, that was super quick by Tromrai. He hesitated for a second, and Tromrai was like, "No, you're not ready for this." Damn. No, I'm ready. I want to know more about you. Let me in on your secret. Tromrai ... In that case, come with me. Okay, so yeah. Also, I definitely have mentioned this a lot as well, but I do like Enkidu's human design a lot. Like I think it's super cool. It's very simplistic, but at the same time, I think that's why it's really cool. The make or break secret. Inside Tromrai's palace. Whoa, a secret area. Is this the area where we saw that person? That's definitely not Arlene. Like it may not be Arlene Grace, but that's like one of the theories that I'm very sure about. That person, like that woman who came into that place with all the test tubes of animals, of like messed up creatures, was Arlene Grace, and she came with Lusleg to get Amizu. It just kind of makes sense to me, but we don't. That's just a theory of mine. Is this that area? Yep, it is. The exact same area. We even see the creature, that octopus creature with like multiple eyes we saw back then. Dear God. And Enkidu's just taking it all in. You're just seeing these monstrosities in Tromrai's basement, basically. Tromrai, what the heck is all this? It's an experiment to combine different species. My goal is to create a sort of chimera without boundaries, a cross between humans, animals, and some other species. And this is very interesting because this is what I'm pretty sure I mentioned this back when I was reacting to the whole Amizu and Traumrai conversation when she said what like, I know what you've been doing. And I thought about two things. I thought about like if it was talking about Leviathan or if it was talking about like him creating all these monstrosities. Then we learned that it was all these monstrosities. And I like how it also ties back to Traumrai's overall goal in the whole tower, where he is trying to where he's trying to create a human that he can subjugate with his mind control. I'm guessing you'd like to ask me why I'm doing this, right? Yeah, he stops. Or that's Traumrai stepping forward. What I hope to achieve with this experiment is very simple. I wish to subjugate every creature in this tower. In order to eliminate all differences and variables. That is very interesting dialogue. I hope he goes more into it. But it adds, I like that, because if he goes into this more and he like goes into it, like just from what I'm thinking about what he means by this line, it's really interesting as like an author from SIU, because it adds a piece of dialogue from a character retroactively that expands on their goals but doesn't ruin their goal. Like, from what we've known, it just adds more knowledge to our goal, like to their goal for us. It doesn't actually hinder or like it doesn't make any of the past actions wrong. Like in what I mean by that is just that all the past things that Traumrai has done to serve his goal isn't contradicted by this new information, and that's super interesting as an author. But let me see, like, let's see if he actually yeah, he's gonna go into it. Cool. Variables, that's right. What do you think is the cause of all the tragedies in this tower, Enkidu? Why can't we all get along together? How did we reach the point where even the best of friends can become enemies and kill one another? The reason is that each creature comes with too many potential variables. It makes one think back on the Yama's flashback 100%, or the Yama backstory. Yeah, 100% it does. This is so interesting because, again, like I said, it adds a whole new perspective on Traumrai's overall goal. But it doesn't contradict anything. Like, just with this, you can tell why he thinks this way from all the things we already know. The reason he thinks this way is because of the tragedies that happened to him while he was climbing the tower, the choices that he had to make, how many levers he had to pull, and all that kind of stuff. He's been through this tower and seen that this tower creates tragedies, and many tragedies come with the people of the tower that he also experienced when they stopped climbing. And this is his motivation. Like, this is his full motivation. Of course, is he doing wrong things? Of course. And this is not saying that he's not. He's 100% knows that he is, and he's still evil 100%. But now we get a new piece of dialogue that makes more sense with everything lining up. It's super interesting. Oh, hi, Amir. Yeah, but it's super interesting. Give me 1 second, guys. Give me just 1 second. I'll be right back. It literally won't take even a second. I'm back. Sorry about that. Needed to answer something. The path to hell is paved with good intentions, however twisted it may be. Yes. Basically, in a very, very good sentence, in the way I just, to explain what I was just trying to say. Yeah, it is, yeah, no matter how many, like, good intentions and how reasonable your intentions are, like, how much you can justify your intentions from what you have gone through and seen, no matter what, it still shouldn't be used to actually advocate for those things as being good things, right? Just because people have suffered doesn't mean that they can't cause suffering, and that suffering is a good thing just because the person who committed it has suffered. I know it doesn't make much sense, but do you remember the panel of the moon recently showed in TOG? No, I did not, actually. Interesting. What chapter was that on? I don't remember. But let's keep reading. Okay. But I love this speech from Trauma, and it's one of the biggest reasons why I really loved the Enkidu flashback. It was because of the dialogue, because of what these characters were saying. I really loved it so much, and I love that we're getting back into it completely. Yeah, suffering does not beget suffering. I believe the phrase goes. Yeah, 100%. Every creature has different ideas and views. They think differently, and even behave differently from one another. In the end, that leads to division and war. I want to get rid of those divisions and variables. I want to get rid of those differences and variables, and make every creature in the tower the same as animals, including humans. That's why I need to control them first. See, that's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing, is that obviously, yeah, like, I just love this speech from Trauma. I really love this. I'm waiting for this arc to end, but one of the videos that I want to really do is to make a whole character analysis on Trauma, on his motivations, his goals, what he thinks, how that changes throughout his entire life. I really want to make that video because Trauma has been one of the most interesting characters SAU has recently made, and each time he expands on this character, it just becomes more and more interesting to me, and definitely one of the best villains Tower God has ever had. That's why I need to control them first. And once all the variables in this world have vanished under my control, he clenches his fist, we can go back to the way things once were as well. And this also is underlined with the pain of what he suffered through, right? And a wanting, and the loneliness he feels. A loneliness is also a big part of Traumai's character. He wants to not be lonely. He, at least at this point of his life, he wants to kind of go back to the way things were. But that can't happen because of everything that has happened already. So yeah, it's super interesting, and at face value, he is evil, but the more that you peel back, the more lonely he becomes. 100%. That definitely, it's yes, 100%. It's very, very, very good writing, and again, he is still evil, no matter how lonely he is, no matter how stuff. He, at the core of his character, obviously there are good elements, but that's what makes a good evil character. That they have those elements to them. I bet my country's leaders think like Trump. Damn. Then I won't need rupture anymore to cut myself off from anything. Damn, that's such a good line. I like that a lot. calling back to his skill, his skill to disconnect anything, and incorporating that into his character. And I love how SAU did that too. How one of Traumarai's most powerful skills was to disconnect himself from everyone else. Traumarai, when I heard him say that, sorry, is that the word? Sorry, is that I don't know what's happening with me. I can't the text is really small on my screen. Oh, it's basically, okay. I think that's what I don't know if that's what it's saying or not. The legality of the experiment didn't cross my mind. Okay. You're basically saying that like the common sense, or like the right thing when he saw this experiment didn't cross his mind when Traumarai said that stuff. His loneliness has made his rationale twisted. His cut bonds left him with nobody to set him straight 100%. And I think for a long time that's who Gusting was for Traumarai, to some extent. At least before he had to pull that lever, and make that decision. Yeah, and it's so good. But we can keep talking about Traumarai's character forever. So I don't. Let's keep going with the chapter. Nor did I feel sympathy for the creatures in those test tubes that had become the victims of this absurd experiment. All I felt was pity for Traumarai, and that's the thing. People can feel pity for Traumarai. And the moment they do, that's the bad thing, because he's already too far gone at this point. He's done a lot of messed up things, and this experiment shows it 100% clear as day that he is not a good person. No matter how much loneliness, painfulness there is. But the reason this is dangerous is because you can feel that pity for him, and then you're trapped. Then that leads to him being able to manipulate you as fast as possible, because you feel a pity for him. I pitied the intense loneliness that I sensed in him. It's no secret possession of power and use of that turns people nuts. Yeah, I feel pity for him. He just took I feel pity for Trom. He just took a wrong turn as a traumatic kid. Yeah. Obviously, that's the thing. It's that obviously, but you have to you do have to separate those two things to notice, because another big part of Traumarai is he's the perfect anima. He is the perfect manipulator. Like, no matter if Gusting is smarter than Traumarai, like generally smarter, he is still the best manipulator out of everyone in the tower. So he is going to what's an easy way to manipulate people? Emotional manipulation. Let them see your pain, let them see your suffering, and then they pity you. Then he can control you. It's so good. It's like such a good character writing. Anyway, let's go. Remember, you must never mention this to anyone, especially not down to Amizu. And Kiru's gonna mention it to Amizu. This is exactly what I was thinking about last week, that he showed that he was gonna show this to Amizu, and that's how Amizu learned about the whole thing that happened in the basement that he told or in the house, or whatever she said, that she told Traumarai in that speech. That's so interesting. I blame the great position he's in. Well, to some extent, he chose that position. So, because he didn't side with Arlene and V, and that's the thing. So there are there are arguments to be made that Jihad made people like this, but at the same time, that just kind of makes the story feel less real. These people, especially the family heads, should still be like aware of what they're doing. That's why I don't like it when people say, "Oh, Edwan is going to turn out to be this good guy and this good." And I want Edwan to be a bastard. I want Edwan, present day Edwan, current Edwan, to be bad, because it just would make a lot more sense for that to be the case, in my opinion. And I really don't think that's a good way to look at it a lot of the times, because at the end of the day, I still think the 10th grade family heads chose their position at the end of the day, even if it was manipulated a little bit by trauma. I think they still chose that to an extent. So, talk about traumatized manipulations. One we see in the chapter when he tells Enkidu he's not ready for the secret. At least that's what I felt. When he tells, that could definitely be one. Yeah. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, that could definitely be one. The torment and loneliness of a special being. Traumai steps out. I wanted to be someone who could understand him and feel that emptiness in him. Enkidu literally turned into, I can fix him. Enkidu literally became one of those girlfriends that were like, I can fix him to trauma. That's so fun. That's really funny now that I think about it that way. But yeah. Okay. How could I have forgotten? Enkidu's dashing towards his side. I'm not one of the people Trauma referred to when he said we or us. Yeah. In the flashback, he referred to all his past companions as we, us, and everyone else as we or creatures and stuff like that. And Enkidu was not part of that us. And he wanted to be part of that us. That's why his venomous thoughts came into that arc of trying to take over one of the family heads and stuff like that. If we look at it like that, I think if we look at it the way I think V has a lot of trash under his action, I think you are born to great power. You tilt the balance of the tower. I mean, yeah, we don't know everything so far, but that could definitely be an interpretation. But at the same time, I really don't. We don't know enough, and from what we know, the family heads and Jihad made their choice, and the people that wanted to keep climbing made their choice. That's as the most basic you can boil that down, but it's still like it is the truth. So Enkidu dashes forward. The composition is good, like the looming of the tanks while Enkidu's running away from the sympathetic outlook of all these horrible things Traumai is doing to just follow Traumai. I like that. To him, I was no different from the insignificant creatures in those test tubes. That's also a good comparison between them in this panel. Okay, Enkidu's knocking. Most likely on Amizu's door, I'm guessing. Or maybe it's Traumai's door. I like his gauntlet. I always liked his like wrist gauntlets of Enkidu's. Yeah, it is Amizu. We got to see more Amizu. Come in, Enkidu. What did you want to see me about? Oh, she requested him. And I also think this is this should take place like somewhat near the Traumai's almost proposal, because Enkidu's wearing the outfit he wore for that. in this part of the flashback. I received this beautiful flower pot as a gift. Would you put it in Tromrai's room for me? You seem to be the only servant who's allowed in his room nowadays. Interesting, she says Tromrai's room, not our room. It's interesting that she made that distinction, that Tromrai and her are not sharing a room, which also would make kind of sense with the way that the Enkidu flashback started, and Tromrai says that his and Amazu's relationship is not going that well at the moment, so they're not even sharing a room at this point. I'm not sure that's a good idea. As you know, Tromrai doesn't like flowers, something we learned in that past flashback. I'm trying to make him like them if possible. That's interesting. It's interesting that Amazu's trying to make Tromrai be like the Tromrai that she knew, or trying to turn him back into the one that she knew. Very interesting by like this dialogue. That's what I'm assuming what she means by this dialogue, because she can already sense that Tromrai's not like together, she can tell that he's shifting. He's not like he once was, in her memories at least. And this is just she's trying to help him out as much as she can. It further displays how far Trom has to cut those around him off. Yeah, 100%. Even Amazu, the one that was like closest to him out of that entire group, I would be assuming. Even lovers ought to respect each other's tastes, don't you think? That's true, but I want him to understand that flowers represent how much he means to me. I'm just saying, I'd feel pressured if I were him. But anyways, I'll bring the flowers to him. So I kind of like that Enkidu brings up his points to Amazu, like his own feelings about her request, but still does what she says at the end of the day. But at the same time, I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like there's a part of me that's saying that in this dialogue, Enkidu wants to keep Amazu and Tromrai separated by him not doing these actions. Enkidu, how has Tromrai been lately? Yeah, she doesn't know. You know the answers to that. Why do you ask? He's the same as always. When he isn't going around collecting animals or hunting down ancient creatures, he stays in his room all the time. I was asking about his feelings, not what he's been doing. Yeah, she said, how has he been lately, not what he's doing. Had to actually go up to see if she actually did say that. But, yeah, I like how he says if he's not going around collecting creatures or hunting down ancients. It's super cool that they mentioned that he does go around and hunts ancients. We saw that in the Enkidu flashback, but that's just a thing he actually does. It's super cool. I've been thinking about doing something to fix our relationship. What? We're going to be meeting our friends soon. Okay, so yes, I knew just from the choice of shirt that Enkidu was wearing, it made me feel like it was close to the proposal Tromrai had for Amazu. We're going to be meeting our friends soon. I don't want them to see us like this. I'd like to have an honest, open conversation with Tromrai and decide what to do about our future. I actually do like this a lot from Amizu, because you clearly see that she was not thinking about leaving Traumarai. She was trying to fix their relationship, which is what I'm assuming is gonna push Enkidu to make it so, to show her the room, and then she's gonna decide to leave Traumarai, and go with V and Arlen, because at this moment she's not thinking about that. She's just thinking about fixing their relationship. That's super interesting, because I still love him so much. I love Amizu as a character so much, like a lot. Like, I loved her in the flashback, and I've loved her in every. I think I've loved her in every single flashback we've gotten of her. The way she talks, the way so real, the how, yeah, I don't know, everything just feels so real with Amizu. She was the last one to actually actively try to remake their bond. Then Amizu comes in with his envy. Yeah, that's what I think is going to happen 100%. Because I still love him so much. I thought you didn't. I thought you didn't have feelings for each other anymore. How could you say that? Couples can become distant from time to time. 100%. That is 100% truthful. Of course, Traumarai might not feel affection for me anymore, but still, I want to give our relationship one last chance. Would you help us get closer? Would you help us get closer to each other again? And I do like that she's giving that chance, that this is that chance. I wonder, I'm gonna keep reading, but I really wonder how things would have turned out if Enkidu wasn't involved in this. I wanted to say no. That's just quick to the point. I wanted to say no. That's that was so quick. Maybe I just read it that way, but also it just felt so direct. And we know that this is Enkidu talking, but it's just like, I wanted to say no. Amizu. Yeah. You asked me how Traumarai's been lately, right? This scene is gonna make me uncomfortable, probably. I'm not sure what to call this emotion, but in any case, I really didn't want the two of them to get back together again. Okay. By any chance, are you aware of Traumarai's secret? That panel. What secret? To a certain extent, people could say, actually, which is interesting. People could say that this choice to show her the truth is actually maybe not better overall for the world because of what happened with Traumarai afterwards, and stuff like that, like for the tower. But for Amizu, technically, it's better, like, to know what's been happening. You know what I mean? It's not like she obviously ended up dying because of this, but at the same time, like, she so, like, in the long run, you can say it wasn't good for her, but it's good that she knew, because what if she came back to Traumarai, tried to do one last chance, and Traumarai was just doing all the stuff behind her back, and technically by doing that was manipulating her, by not telling her the truth. So there's that. You can look at it that way too. Are you aware of Traumarai's secret? What secret? I'm glad the two of you are trying to work things out and everything. That's why. But first, there's something you need to know. Yeah, he's squeezing. I love the little details. He's squeezing the pot. That it was Amizu's attempt to rebuild their relationship. I think you ought to wait until then before you decide anything. For Traumrai, it certainly sealed his direction 100%. But at the same time, I still think he would have done it even if Amizu and Traumrai got back together. Maybe he wouldn't, but that would be interesting to think about. But I really think he would have kept going with his experiments because of his goal that he told Enkidu. And I think that he still believed in that goal full-heartedly, even if him and Amizu stayed together. So, but he would not tell Amizu. Like, he would definitely not have told Amizu, and Amizu would have been living a lie. And so it's definitely, yeah. I decided to break my promise to Traumrai. We just instantly cut, slumped, and it was in that very room that Amizu made up her mind. I was right. This is Enkidu was the one who basically, for all intents and purposes, cut the string between them, cut the line and said nope. And you know what's wild? Amizu still loved Traumrai. In the flashback, you can tell she cried for Traumrai. She loved Traumrai so much. From all their history and everything, she loved him still, even after she saw this. That's insane. But at the same time, she did make, like I said, Enkidu's choice of looking at all this horror and feeling pity for Traumrai was the bad thing to do. Amizu, looking at all this horror, did the right thing by leaving, by trying to leave, and by saying no matter how much I love Traumrai still, this isn't Traumrai, the one that I knew anymore, and I won't let him manipulate me. And that's what got her killed. That's what got both of them actually sort of killed. Enkidu sealed, but kind of for all intents and purposes, again, he was kind of sealed. I mean, he was kind of killed by sealing him for that long. She decided to completely break up with Traumrai. So super interesting. Oh, and she just crying and dropped on the ground. Man, that must have shattered every, like, again, I'm surprised it didn't shatter every bit of love left for Traumrai, because it did it, like I just said. But man, that must have crushed any hope of her in her mind coming back to Traumrai. Even if that did result in the end of their relationship, it's not my fault. That's that line. It's not my fault. It is his fault. And I don't know if he definitely doesn't think that way, but it is his fault. But it is also Traumrai's fault. Technically, it's both Enkidu's and Traumrai's fault. It's Enkidu's fault for showing her this, but it's Traumrai's fault for doing it in the first place. Because if he didn't do it in the first place, there's nothing for Enkidu to show her. So it's super interesting story writing. Everything she saw there was the truth. Yep. Bomb certainly knows better. Yep. And that's why he was talking the way he was to Enkidu. Sorry, I should have stopped him. Now he's lying through his teeth. Now he's like, sorry, I should have stopped him. But Traumrai despises humans so deeply. He's trying to combine animals and human beings into a single species. And that's now, yeah. And Enkidu started lying through his teeth. Damn, that line. Sorry, I should have stopped him. I never once lied to Amizu. You do, and that's so ironic because he just did. The first thing he just said right now was completely a lie. He was never gonna try to stop Traumrai. I never once lied to Amizu. I think his ultimate goal is to eradicate all humans and create a tower inhabited only by chimeras known as beastkin. Damn, we're getting the beastkin tied into this. That's crazy. And that's super nuts. We're actually getting the beastkin connection. The absolute slop of lies Enkidu said here certainly made me disappointed 100%. But again, it makes you disappointed, but I like this for the character of Enkidu because like I've been saying, I didn't want him to just be a victim of Traumarai. Would that make him a more likable character because he was just a victim? Yeah, sure. Of course it would have, but I didn't want that because I feel like it would be more complex for not only to be that, to be somebody so full of envy and greed to want to be by somebody's side that he does all this stuff, and it's so good. But I love the Beastkin connection. Not in the story, mind you. In Enkidu's character as a person, yeah. Of course. That's what I assumed you meant. As a person, yeah. But as a story element goes, it's amazing, I think. Super good. If anyone is at fault, it's Amizu. That line hurt. If anyone is at fault, it's Amizu. She chose to not be with Trauma after seeing this. It's not my fault. Damn, that's. Aren't she just crying? Trauma. She failed to understand the profound loneliness that drove Trauma to take such extreme measures. How could you do such a thing? Why? He's the one in the wrong. Amizu, you have no right to be with him. And this scene is great. It makes me feel so disgusted. It actually it brings out like something in me. It makes me feel just every single new line I read from Enkidu makes me feel both, yeah, like you said, disappointed, but also like just disgusted. It does make me feel that way, and I love that it does. So good. I'm the only one who deserves to be by Traumarai's side. At least, why? And he just walks away. That's what I deluded myself into thinking. Why would you do this? Damn. The day of the party. The ring falls out if you turn it upside down like this. She's gonna love it. And having this be after it, and having Enkidu talking about this like he's excited for this marriage, and for this whole proposal, which he is not, and now we know he is completely not for it. Before, you could have made the inference that even if he didn't like Amizu that much and thought of her like as useless, like he said in the flashback, you could still kind of say, oh, he's Traumarai's friend. He wants to be Traumarai's friend, so he's happy for Traumarai. He's not. He doesn't want it to happen. Diabolically, yep. She's going to love it. I bet she'll be speechless when you hand it to her. You're so pretty, Amizu. It's not really my style. You got this. Sing us a song. I'm sure it's going to be a memorable proposal. Oof, damn, that was a great scene. I love that so much. I think that's the end of it. I think. Maybe we're gonna keep going, but that was just amazing. Having this line be the ultimate, like the ending of this one, if it is, that it would be amazing. Just I'm sure it's going to be a memorable proposal, because he knows. Damn, that sucks. Even then, I don't think it ever occurred to me that Amizu would choose to leave this place voluntarily. Interesting. He didn't think she would actually leave. Damn. Because I didn't have that sort of free will myself. So now he's back. It's kind of going back to the whole us and we thing. That since Enkidu is part of the creatures, though the we, not part of Tramrai's us, his companions, he doesn't have that free will that his companions do. Like when Ari Han sheathed his sword and said to Luslek that Amizu is free to do what she wishes to do. If she wants to leave here, she can leave here. It's not my place to get involved in that. To some extent, Amizu has more free will than Enkidu, at least from his point of view. So that's why he couldn't think of that would actually happen. So when she did decide that of her own free will, it made me furious. Damn. Now I think we're coming back. But that was amazing. That was that's half of the chapter, and that was great. Every single time SAE devoted to that was great to me. It just added everything. It was like the perfect cherry on top to an already amazing flashback thing, flashback arc that I loved so much, the Enkidu one, and this being added to it was so good. So there's a smash. It was such a fool. Tramrai's clashing with Bomb. I thought Tramrai saw me differently from those lonely creatures, because I understood him even when he shared that secret with me. That shot of Enkidu is great. You see the monster of Enkidu, the fury of Enkidu. I thought I was his only true friend. And that's the thing, even back then I think he knew that he wasn't. But he was hoping, he was having a little shred of hope that he was his one true friend. But even back then, you have so many dialogue pieces where he was saying that he was not included in Tramrai's us. So I think he knew, but he just wanted to deny it for as long as he possibly could. Yeah, it was the little bow that needed to be added to the top 100%. That was so good. I love that so much. And it already made the chapter like an amazing chapter for me. But we still have half of the chapter to go through. So let's keep going. I thought I was his only true friend, but Tramrai betrayed me. Bomb just looks at him while he's covering himself with the Leviathan gauntlets. Again, super cool that he's using that, by the way. I really like that. That it's just another piece of his arsenal that he can use now. It's not like buried away. He abandoned me, betrayed you, because of that twisted obsession of yours. You blew your last chance to stop Tramrai. Isn't that right? Yeah. I mean, he wouldn't be able to stop Tramrai either way, no matter what, but he chose to, because of that obsession, to not try to stop Tramrai like Amizu did. Like, the parallels of Amizu and Enkidu are great right then and there. That like I already mentioned this, Enkidu saw that, chose to pity Tramrai. Amizu saw that and chose to leave Tramrai. And that was the right choice. Amizu made the right decision by doing that. And Enkidu did not. So Bomb sees that, and it's not diluted, and knows that because of that, he blew his chance to stop Tramrai, to stand against him, after seeing the truth of him. Fine, I admit it, I was delusional. That jerk never saw me any differently from those chimeras and lower creatures in the test tubes. But that's the thing. He still sees, even present day, he sees those creatures and all these other things as lower beings than him. He's saying that he's still calling them lower creatures. And that's the difference, is that Hamizu didn't say that. She never said, oh, I thought he saw me differently than all these other creatures that are lonely or whatever. She didn't make that. Enkidu is still saying all that kind of stuff. He's still saying those lower creatures in the test tubes. And that goes to show you how twisted he really is. My only mistake is that I trusted that bastard. Bomb does like a leap back to not get struck by Enkidu's blade. He keeps getting stronger since he transformed. So Enkidu's power just keeps increasing the more he stays in this form. That's not true. You never once trusted Tromrai, which means you were never friends either. I think that is true. I think I just said that too, actually, where he's saying all this stuff that he thought that he was part of the us, but deep down through the dialogue we know that he never did think that. He always knew that Tromrai didn't think of him as the same as his companions. So yeah, it's and because of that, Enkidu didn't trust Tromrai, which, like his mom says, means they were never friends to begin with. Damn. What? You just wanted to make yourself feel important by siding with someone special like Tromrai. That's why you were always so worried about someone taking your place next to him. That's not what it means to be friends. A friend isn't someone you keep to yourself so that no one else can have them. Bomb is spitting right now. Everything that Bomb says is truth right now. Everything that I've read, at least. Everything that I've read is so true. Not only to Tromrai and Enkidu's relationship, but just in general. That's not what friends are. You don't keep them around just for yourself. And friends don't make each other miserable to satisfy their own desires. Tromrai only kept you near him because he doesn't trust people, and he could boss you around as much as he wanted. Enkidu's I feel like he's just gonna keep getting more infuriated by this. And you tried to wipe out everyone who mattered to Tromrai for the sake of your own greed. You're both the same. All facts and truth they need to hear 100%. And it's so good. Yeah, everything that I've read so far from Bomb has been completely 100% truth. The two of you were never friends in the first place. Damn. What? You don't know what you're saying. I've heard enough. That panel just... He looks more like human. His face looks more detailed in this pure roar of rage. I've heard enough of this bullshit. Oh, he's the rumbling, and his sword, his cleaver is turning red. It's like a skill of Enkidu's. Big whoosh-ish. I'm guessing he swinged the sword. Oh no. Bomb's like, oh crap. Yeah, Enkidu's definitely stepping it up. This isn't good. Oh yeah, that's cool. He extended the blade of he extended his cleaver to like make it longer ranged. That's cool. Oh, that I actually do like that panel too of Bomb. He couldn't even defend himself in time. He tried to get his guard up, but it slashed through like his like midsection. Damn. I mean, Bomb is completely ragged at this point too, but it's damn. But yeah. Oh shoot. It's cutting into the V line, or the his Bomb's power line, which we now we got confirmed recently that it's like V or something, whatever that means, right? So many theories still to go around with that, but it slashes through that or damages that. I wonder how's that gonna affect Bomb. An anger boost, you could suppose, yeah. Either that or he's just bringing out more power than he had before, that he wasn't using. Bomb gets flown back. One has to wonder what repercussions this will bring. Yeah. Bomb flows back. This is the thumbnail. I loved, actually, when they sent me the screenshot, I loved the screenshot. This the art of this shot, it looks so manic, and it looks so like just so like an animal, just deranged. I love this look of Enkidu so much. And his blade is streaming with this red Shinsu. Bomb is clutching his side. It looks like he's trying to keep, because it was like a slash through him. Like, I feel like he's trying to keep his, like, it's obviously, it's manga, it's not like the most realistic thing, right? But it kind of feels like he's trying to keep himself like in one piece. Like he's trying to like clutch his organs from leaking out of him. I know that's obviously going way too far with it, right? But at the same time, it kind of feels that way, or at least trying to keep the blood inside of him. He's so powerful. You dare to lecture me, boy. Oh, and he's smirking. This phase, bro, this art of Enkidu this chapter has been amazing. This looks so bad. Like it looks so good, like really good art, but they made Enkidu look so bad. Like you know, like how people say envy is like the ugliest sin. Like you can see that in his face. You have no idea what you've gotten yourself into, do you? What's that supposed to mean? When I left this body earlier, Bellier and Goro came flying out alongside with the debris. Really? They really went all out this chapter to make him look as unhinged as possible. Yeah, 100%, and I love it. I love it so much. Every single panel that we've gotten for that has been amazing. Kind of how they make Rachel look when she gets in her bad moods. 100%. Yeah, and those are some of my favorite Rachel panels too. What do you think a couple of guys hell-bent on revenge like them might go after? So so both Bellery and Goro, which is super cool that Goro is technically still alive, inside of what's it called, Bellery. Pretty soon, I bet they'll get their hands on the chess piece. We see the little blobs of Enkidu going, because no one would ever expect him to come after them in liquid form. Stop right there. They'll never see it coming. That's not fair. fair? What are you talking about? It's a game, remember? I added that laugh to that line just because I was even like, when I read that, it's not fair. That's how I feel like I would react. I was like, fair? Why would this be fair? What are you talking about? Thanks. I appreciate the valuable tip. Who's this? Now that we know where Pobedow's king is, all we need to do is go get it. Oh, someone's calling Bomb. The pocket is turned on. Coon, you're awake. It's Coon. Yeah, he did wake up last chapter. That's right. Sorry, Bomb. I didn't mean to be asleep for so long. But we've got Lopobi as kings. Oh yeah, they do. So I hope you'll forgive me. What? You have Lopobi as king? Yep. I'm not sure what happened while I was asleep, but somehow we managed to get it. What? What are you doing with Lopobi as king? Who are you? Who do you think we are, you numbskull? Maybe you don't know because you never experienced this yourself. We're the kind of people who are there for each other no matter what, without expecting anything in return. We're friends. I love that line, actually. I thought it was gonna be corny, but now that I read it, like, because I knew that he was gonna say something like friends, but like the more that I read of that line, the more it actually hit for me. Like, and he doesn't tell him like his actual name. I'm Kuna Guerra Agnes or whatever. Like he says we're the kind of people who are always there for each other no matter what, without expecting anything in return. We're friends. Kun, you little brats. To be continued. And now for the power of friendship, yeah. But I actually do like that line. Because of like the whole conversation Bomb has just been having with Enkidu about like him never being friends with Tromrai, and then we get a clear example of friendship with Bomb and his companions with Kun. We actually see what friends do for each other and not what Tromrai and Enkidu were. So it's actually pretty good. A really good scene, actually. What shot am I gonna... Well, to be honest, I'm actually gonna leave it on the same shot that this shot. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it in the same shot as the thumbnail because I really like that shot. And Enkidu, let's be honest, was the star of this chapter. The main focus and star of this chapter, 100%. So good. I love this chapter a lot. Last two chapters, honestly, were not bad. Last chapter, I think I said was like a 5, like a 5-5, like a pretty middle chapter of Tower God. All things considered, I like the ending of it, but other than that, I feel like it was just a setup chapter, you know. So I didn't hate it, obviously, but I wouldn't say I didn't like. It's one of the chapters that I'm going to go back and read and whatever, but I really like this chapter, and I'm definitely going to go back and read it to make that video analyzing Tromrai's character once this arc is done, because this is such a good chapter for dialogue, for character motivation reveals, and kind of fleshing out Enkidu more. Enkidu, and like I've been saying this whole reaction, I'm so happy that he's not just a victim. I'm so happy that Enkidu is also at blame for so much of this, and yeah, and it was just great. Everyone felt in character. Everyone felt really good. The Bomb spitting facts, literally spitting facts at Enkidu, was great. And yeah, everything involving everything involving most of the things in this chapter were great. But let's see. great chapter. Only 7 more left. Really? Only 7 more. That's crazy. Oh dang, we're that close to the season end? Really? 7 chapters. Yeah, 652, and then we wait. Oh wow. That's crazy. Oh well, I don't knowing that, I guess I'm gonna make my predictions for next chapter right now. Time for next time to show what two unbreakable bonds can do to those two snap bond. They're bonds like twigs. Yeah. Great way of saying that. But my predictions for next chapter, I think maybe Kun is going to get the Popodao chess piece as well. Maybe we got back to Lopobia, Tromrai, and not Lopobia and Tromrai, I mean Gusting and Tromrai and Yorick Mazzino. I don't think, because we only have 7 chapters left, I actually don't think it's going to be that big of an encounter or fight, because I don't think we have time for that if it's only 7 chapters left. Maybe we do, but maybe just for like 8 chapter, right? Or a half a chapter or something like that. I wonder, because it feels, man, 7 chapters, even if those chapters are long, I feel like that's, I don't know, to end this arc. We'll see how it goes, but hopefully they're good. But other than that, I can't really make much predictions about what is going to happen next week. Maybe the Gusting, Tromrai, and Yorick stuff, and most likely the Kun stuff, where he also gets the other chess piece. But yeah, prediction time. It'll be fun. I predict the next title chapter will be very short. Yeah, but that's the thing. Other than that, I can't really think of much else of the chapter itself, of what it could be. I think we're just getting into the ends of it, I guess. I wonder if we're actually going to see any, like, the game, how we're going to see the game finish, because the game's still going on. I wonder what the end of Enkidu's story is going to be, if he's going to have an end, or if he's going to, like, join Revolution and Rachel and everyone else. I wonder. I think I want to see Enkidu continue somewhat into the story. But I could also see him not continuing. It's weird. I could feel him not continuing in the story after this arc, but I could also very much see that. So it's a weird gray area for me in my head. Other than that, I can't really predict much else, really. But I love this chapter a lot. I would probably give it an 8 out of 10. Really good. Doesn't really reach a 9 for me. It's definitely also not a 10. I don't think it's like a perfect chapter, but definitely an 8. Do you think Yorick will prevent the family leader's death? So do you think I believe that none of the family leaders are going to die? That's such a tough one. I want to say maybe not. I want to say maybe no one will die. The reason I say that is because I feel like you can have so many possibilities if one of them dies. And if I still believe that if one of them will die, it's definitely going to be Tromrai. The reason I say that, even if we got all this amazing characterization from Tromrai, I think we've also got an amazing characterization for Gusting too. Like, don't get it twisted. We've gotten really amazing amount of characterization for Gusting as well, like so much. But all the characterization for Gusting feels like it will lead to the upcoming wars with the rest of the family leaders and Gusting and the rest of the whole conflict. It feels like it's a character information and character stuff for the eventual next starting point of the next arcs, right? And I feel like Tromrai's motivations and stuff are more book-ended. Like, we're learning so much about it that if he dies, we're kind of like we're left satisfied because we got almost everything we could from this character. But if neither of them dies, that could also lead to many interesting things in the story. But I do feel like if one of them dies, I'm I like 90% sure that it's going to be Tromrai. If none of them dies, then that would be a very interesting way to take the story, and I really would want to see how that continues, because the Lopobia family is basically done. It's only Tromrai at this point. All the important people, Tromrai and Robodon, that's kind of it, right? So in terms of families, Pobedao won this war. Like, the families, Tromrai's family is gone. Like, so I wonder if Tromrai survives, what's going to be in the table for him if he does survive without a family. Like, it's so interesting. We also do have White Garment Widow, but we haven't seen her ever since the nest. So yeah, I don't know. Super interesting question. So that's my opinion. If one dies, I'm pretty sure it's going to be Tromrai, because Sting's characterization feels like more like a springboard for more interesting plots down the line, and Tromrai's feels more like we're getting all this characterization, really good characterization, so that we're not starving for more when he dies, if he dies. Right, that's kind of how I feel about it. Because Tromrai definitely feels a little more complete than Gusting for me. So yeah, that's really what I think. And if they don't, then I'm really, really interested. Really interested of what's gonna happen in this in the future arcs, if Tromrai survives and Gusting survive, and how that's gonna affect things. But yeah, other than that, really don't have much else to say, unless somebody has another question that I'll be more than willing to answer. I think we're done with this chapter, and I've given all my predictions about what might happen next chapter. And yeah, if there's nothing else to say, hope you guys have a wonderful night. And yeah, this if they all do survive, will we get a bit of Jihad's perspective? Maybe that could I think that's the thing, is that's the reason why I don't know that Jihad and I mean, that's why I don't know if one of them will survive, because I feel like it will make more natural sense for the rest of the family leaders and for Jihad to get more, like, even more involved if one of them does die. Like, and that's why I also feel like Tromrai should die, because if Gusting dies, Jihad is like, I wanted him dead. This is kind of like what we've been wanting, because if he's alive, the rift is going to keep continuing. But if Tromrai dies, like, basically Jihad's lackey, basically, if Tromrai dies, then that will springboard the rest of the family leaders to get involved, because they're like, oh shoot, this actually could mean death for us. This is not just Gusting throwing a hissy fit, this actually is a thing. And it would also push Jihad even further into action against Gusting. So I think that's why I could see it both ways. Like, I could definitely see it if Tromrai dies. It'll springboard Jihad's involvement, and if he doesn't die, it could still lead to that if Tromrai tries to go to Jihad directly to talk to him or something like that, which would be interesting. But again, I don't know. But yeah, I think that's my opinion on that front. I just feel like Tromrai's death would mean more to the future of the story, and if Gusting dies, it's kind of more like well, what are we gonna do now? It could definitely amp the despair for the heroes, like Bomb and FUG. FUGs, well, saying FUGs like the heroes is kind of like, but you know what I mean. It could amp up the stakes for the main characters, that they don't have Gusting to rely on to fight the family heads or something. It could do that. But I still think Gusting is needed, at least for the start of this whole war against the family heads, and then he can die. And then it would make more sense for him to die later on during the struggle of it. But at least that's in my opinion. So I guess you can kind of look at it both ways. Whichever way, no matter what SAU decides to do, I always say that as long as it's good, I'll be okay with it. Yeah, that's really it. Okay, so I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Thank you for being here this wonderful stream. I hope you guys have the good time. Sleep well, and we'll come back next week for another live stream. And this week you'll be getting another video from me, like a main video from me. So hopefully you all will enjoy that one as well. Hope you guys have a wonderful night. Bye.